contact, so maybe for training purposes.
And there's one other community kitchen that I've toured and I've ate in, and that is a new one at the farmer's market in Frankenmuth. And that's like brand new, like a year old. Very nice setup.
Okay. Rob?
Yeah, I don't know if it made Nathan's list, but I just support the idea of checking out the hatchery, because I did tour it with Lisk in the spring. It's a newly constructed $35 million, I think 60,000 square foot facility in the middle of a neighborhood. And one of the takeaways was that they rented space immediately to one of the small business lenders in town, so that they'd have immediate access to people who wanted to grow their business. So it'd be a real symbiotic relationship there. But it was, another takeaway was it was slow to rent up, even though they had experience in the industry. Yeah, well, no, it was just slow to get people to actually sign leases to commit to the space.
Where is it?
It's in Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago.
Yeah, the hatchery is called Schooler. It's very
I thought I was
impressive.
going on a local tour.
Yeah.
Quick question. When I approached Lisk a couple of years ago, they said that they don't fund, they were funding programs that put people back to work,
Okay.
job development.
Yeah.
Is this something you think they would, having been an employee of Lisk?
Well, that plus the fact that Lisk paid for people to go to that tour, amongst other things in Chicago, yeah, I think it would be time to go back to them.
Well, I think that the hatchery also what they did is when they would train them, the different chefs then were hiring them back. So there was a relationship set up with, whether it was Rick Bayless, Lula Cafe,
Okay.
Big Jones. So they're actually looking at training them and then saying, we will hire them. Because there is a lack of skilled, whether they're cooks in the back of the house or servers, but everywhere.
Yeah.
So probably definitely in Detroit as well. But having the support of the different chefs helps the hatchery as well. So I think that's something to
You
do.
guys can become a
Mary,
culinary pipeline.
question?
Are you know, I don't know if this is information of interest or not, but I know that Grace in Action has gotten a grant from Arts Place, and they have a little garage, and I know we were talking about creating a coffee kind of atmosphere to bring people together, like café con leche, you know, we come together and meet. Then the Adazukans got a nice grant, and they were looking at having a place, a community gathering place, and you know, and then there was the Cultural Garage. They got some money from, I think it was Arts Place also, and they already have a little thing there. And if I'm not mistaken, there was some talk some time ago about a kitchen, a commercial kitchen that people could come and use, and that was at the Garaje Cultural. And then Susie at the Tamale probably could give you a great deal of advice as far as all the certification. Because I know she just went to an all-day thing, and I'm sure that she would be more than happy to come in and share that information with you.
We'll just kind of go quickly through the changes that Ray and I, like the direction that really we thought it would go in based on the feedback we've already gotten, and then I think leave it open to what you guys think about each space, cafe, kitchen, gallery. I think we've gotten on this, but we think that based on feedback that the gallery really ought to be bigger and ought to come down to, like, say here and go up all the way to those windows, just to allow for a lot of meeting space. That seems to be important, and to be able to have like 50 to 75 people in this room. There seems to be a lot of interest in the community cooking class. That seems to be like something for your average everyday person to go to, as opposed to having space for 15 or 20 professional food people who are looking to start their own kitchen. So again, that would be less reliant on the income from those entrepreneurs, because now you only have like maybe 8 to 10 of them, and more reliant on cafe income. There's a ton of people who are coming into Secretary of State every day through the Welcome Center. So kind of focusing, especially in phase 1, that's all we're going to have, So focusing on that cafe and events. So, mhm.
Can you go back to
Yep.
the schematic?
Yeah.
Can you give us the rough dimensions, like what's the square footage or?
So,
Because that cafe seems really small to me.
well, so the cafe is really a counter.
Okay.
Like that. So we've got a large gallery and we've got a cafe counter ordering area. One of the questions is, do we have? I mean, we could fill this place with cafe tables and potentially have it pretty full bill. What do people? Is that what people want? Do people really want it to be a little more open so that you can come in and casually have a meeting? Like, do we want Wi-Fi, things like that? And so that's kind of the answer. Is that
space? Can you kind of give us a delineation of like what does it look like?
sure?
Physically?
It's
20 by.
So it's 35 by 35. So this is 35 by 35, and then this space is, I apologize, so this is about 45 by 35. It comes about from here to the opposite corner that I'm standing on. So this is the wide open gallery space. Then where those red bins would be, obviously sticking out further from that, would be the kind of cafe counter. And if you looked at the original design had the cafe kind of centered on that window. The gallery was much smaller. These are our, when you're programming things, you want to understand like the goals and then the needs for square footage, because then we can move everything around, like especially the potential to have connections between this space and that community kitchen. Like, are you have a garage door to open it up? So things like that is why, like, I know it drives people crazy, but sometimes I tend to not want to visualize the space before you visualize the goals. I mean, that's kind of what you get down to. Yes, sorry.
Where are the bathrooms?
Bathrooms are right here. So you have a hallway that comes through that exit, and then the bathrooms are back here where I'm standing. So it'd be 2 men's toilets, 2 women's toilets. So
Nathan's going to read the labels.
is that okay, just real quickly? So this is the original plan, which is more cohesive. So these renderings match this plan. That is the window that we're looking at, and it includes that last unfinished space at the corner of the building. So we've got a gallery and meeting room. In this old design, it was about 25 feet by 35 feet. Cafe is right here. This kitchen, so here's labeled the demonstration kitchen. This is based exactly on Eastern Market's layout. So they have a demonstration kitchen here with cooking equipment, ranges, and areas where you saw that picture with people sitting here. Then there's kind of a back kitchen which just has a lot more ovens, mixers, and everything that these makers need. Eastern Market has an office, like a manager's office. We're not sure how much of that we need, especially if we scale back and some of the logistics behind that program. This is a dishes area. Again, it just takes up a lot of space. The cafe can use that dishes area. This is maker storage. So this is all storage, those 2 by 5 wire storage cabinets. So this is all you would need to get about 25 makers in there. This is a staging and a vestibule area. It's just used to keep something that you need just logistically to keep people out of the way of each other, to have a kind of place to wait while you're moving your cart from here and waiting to go into the kitchen. Walk-in freezer, walk-in cooler right behind you right there, and then women's and men's room and the parking lot back here.
Good, a question here,
Well,
Lisa.
I'm just curious, like, if you would be interested in doing like a quinceañera or something like this.
Of course, I mean,
Just,
you know,
they spend a lot of money.
the only prohibition that we've had is we don't, we have to be careful with the alcohol
Yeah.
usage.
Oh, yeah.
Vic?
Is there a reason why the kitchen and the cafe are arranged this way and not the opposite? That the corner building would be the cafe? Is there a reason for it? I'm not.
The idea was that the idea was really like twofold. First of all, in a gallery and meeting space, it would be nice to have those windows there, but on the other hand, wall space in a gallery is what makes it functional. So just having a space for your screens, a space for art. I did a layout flipped, but it just seemed to be like, this is cool and a lot of stainless, and you see it from the sidewalk, and then this, you just have more light and controlled environment for a gallery.
You got a question? Question back here.
Yes.
So the seating, that you have access to seating outside to
Yes,
the
Ray, I
purpose?
always forget, because that's one of the things Ray always wants to add, and I always forget to mention that.
Did you get that, Liliana? If you look outside, we have a tree-lined sidewalk on the outer edge of the building, and we own to the berm, so we would put a fence, a nice wrought iron, Spanish-y looking fence, and it would probably go to where the emergency door is, so we wouldn't block the emergency door.
On the plan, can you show us exactly?
Sure, right where the trees are. So we envision that as having outdoor tables and chairs during warm weather, nice
Is there
weather.
a possibility to turn that into like an edible garden? So-
What?
Edible garden?
Well, we're going to hope that Gloria can help us negotiate using the empty lot next door here, that we can, because there's a lot of interest in doing a community garden in that space.
Yeah.
And it's owned by someone else, and so we're going to have to negotiate the use of that. But that's phase 3, if we can do it. But one thing, Nathan, with his expertise, he'll look at a space and he'll tell me, you're really only using 800 square feet here whenever anybody gets together, or the exhibits only take about 800 square feet, or the kitchen is about 800 square feet. So, he's very space conscious. So when he tells me that, it tells me that if we maximize the space and build walls and have these things, we're still going to have enough space to do the kinds of things that we have done before. Jessica?
It would be nice to, I know you'd like to offer the space to community groups and everybody, but as a token of, good faith, it'd be nice if the groups that did come in utilize your facilities, the kitchen and/or, even if it's water, if they, got their waters from you and didn't bring in outside food, as a way to generate that income and keep it self-sustaining.
No, that's a good one, because one of the things that's happening, the Joe Louis Greenway was, I don't know if it's still going to be coming down here. They really wanted to keep it through Bagley and then go over the pedestrian bridge. So they want to bring it, so potentially you'd have people doing just like the DeQuitter Cut. And then trying to be ecologically conscious, do we do refilling stations? We don't want to sell plastic water bottles. We want to have refilling stations for bikers and, walkers, and maybe we can sell some of the metal or glass containers. So we want that kind of input. Is that what this community would really like in terms of ecologically sound and sustainability?
Yeah, I was wondering, have you thought about the issue, you talk about education, of doing your own catering service out of that kitchen so that you would offer that as a moneymaker for other activities? If Robert wants to have something at his place that he would pay the food from here, the same thing with Eva, that would be good. On top of that, you're training kids a skill, just like Breithaupt does, with their students.
That's a great thought, yeah. No, we've thought about reaching out to the what do they call, like Schoolcraft and schools. Vocational, but for culinary arts. Yeah, so that's a real. Back here and then David.
It's launched in Chicago, the Hatchery in Chicago, and they actually are education as well. It's on the south side, so it's an incubator. So if you look at La Cocina, they were founded the same way.
What was that?
La Cocina, where you went for the book signing, the
Yeah.
group out of San Francisco. It's basically teaching, if someone's been cooking out of their house for many years, but sells well and does well, they teach them to establish a business plan. There's all these courses that are set up within those two programs, like La Cocina and the Hatchery. You get that?
La Cocina is the people that you.
The one is, it's on the south side.
When La Cocina
So-
came in here, there was a chef from Oaxaca, and he went to Frame in wherever, Hazel Park. If we had a kitchen here, he could have come here.
Exactly,
And we could,
yeah, I
have a
think
grant
that-
to support that kind of a.
differentiating yourselves from any other like incubator kitchen that's happening to I think would probably be in the neighborhood's benefit. I think I mentioned to you, it's like we've lost a tortilla vendor. So, and we know that there is a resurgence to knowing where your food is coming from. And the old mixolization is coming back. We're seeing it in other cities where the tortilla is no longer made in the old method, in the commercial method or the conventional method. So I guess having equipment that people can use that you can't find anywhere else.
I mean, like
And that's what you're seeing.
molcajete.
Well, it's happening. It's definitely knowing where your food's coming from.
That
So,
touches on Gloria's point about instruction for younger
yeah,
generations and
yeah,
whatnot.
because you're losing that. Yeah, because you're not able to go
Exposes-
back.
They don't even know it exists.
Yeah, so.
Go ahead, Robert, it's all right. No, yeah. Well, Ray, you touched on an interesting point. I've been out to Schoolcraft a few times, and they have a remarkable culinary setup. And I don't know how receptive they would be to having a meeting with you, but I think if you and Nathan and anyone else set up something out there to pick their brains, to get ideas, just like you did with Eastern Market, it's gonna stimulate some more brain cells for just for different ideas. I don't know if you would gain anything from it, but if you don't, you won't get anything. But
I
if
think
you
we
do, you
would.
might get something. They have an excellent setup. They're top notch, and they have certain nights where the public can come, and of course, you pay, but it's a bargain for the food you get.
Sure.
It's cuisine. It's
Yeah, I was
fantastic.
visiting Fair State once, and their culinary arts program fed people daily there, so.
Well, as some do, they do lunches and whatnot too. So, I mean, again, these are just more avenues
Yeah.
to look into. I think they're an excellent one, and yeah, they're not down here, but they are Metro Detroit.
Is there anything about in a gallery having a cafe to preserve the quality of your exhibit? You could have some potential accident. I'm not saying you will, but that's a concern.
It has to be.
Yeah. Well, MoCat has a cafe bar there.
Right,
But-
but it's just in the way it here is so
Yeah.
close to it.
No, you're
And the
right.
other question is your insurance. Your food and what?
You sell insurance or is that
No, no, I'm just preserving the integrity, and I'd love to, if I go to a gallery, to have a chance for a cup of coffee. I'm just saying, I'm sorry. That's right, yes.